Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Going over my favorite plays at wide receiver for week 16 on Draftkings. So starting off at the high end, we have DeAndre Hopkins. He has a dream matchup versus the Eagles secondary, who's giving up the second most points per game to receivers. And really, I don't know what else to tell you. He's the best receiver in the game, in my opinion, and he's going against bad secondary, so you can fire him up. Julio Jones. Every time I see Julio is playing the Panthers, it instantly brings back memories of his 300-yard game versus them a couple years ago. I don't expect that this week, but it is a great matchup for him as he will be matched up with James Bradbury for most of the game, and the Falcons can definitely look to exploit that. The days of him not scoring touchdowns are behind him as he has regressed to the mean in the second half of the season. The Panthers are 29th DVOA versus the pass and are allowing the 9th most points per game to the position. Next guy is Juju Smith-Schuster. This was brought to my attention last week about Juju's home-road splits, and it was something I couldn't believe I hadn't noticed before. This guy kills it on the road. The Saints D has been incredible lately, but that doesn't mean we can't poke some holes in it. I think they will try their best to take Brown out of the game, and Juju will be matched up with Eli Apple a lot, who is someone the Steelers should look to pick on. The Saints are 31st DVOA to wide receiver 2s this year, so I really like the spot for Juju. Adam Thielen, he's not been the monster he was the first half of the season, but this matchup and price is just begging us to play him. Slay will be on Diggs, leaving Nevin Lawson, who's just not good on Thielen. The Lions are 32nd DVOA versus slot receivers and are 31st DVOA versus the pass overall. If you're willing to look past the last couple of games, you could get the first half of the season Thielen for sub 8K. That's a spot I really like. Last guy is Amari Cooper. Tampa has been better of late versus the pass, but you can still attack the secondary, especially with a guy like Cooper. He has been a revelation for this Cowboys offense, except for last week, and he is in a winnable matchup versus Brent Grimes. Tampa is 28th DVOA versus the pass and is giving up the 5th most points per game to the position. Okay, off to the mid-range, we only have two options I really liked. We have Robert Woods. He should avoid Patrick Peterson since he doesn't go into the slot, so I like his individual matchup with Buda Baker. Woods has been one of the safest wide receivers to use in fantasy this year as he's put up double-digit fantasy points every week since week 2. Next guy is Jarvis Landry, and really it's just because of the Bengals matchup. He has also shown some life as of late. He gets a nice matchup in the slot versus Darqueze Dennard. I think I said that right. Since he is 27th DVOA versus the pass and is top half in points given up to the position. Okay, onto the bargain bin. We have Isaiah McKenzie. One place to attack the Patriots defense is in the slot as they're giving up 22.4 points to slots, which is near the top in the league. McKenzie has been pretty good of late relative to his price. You have to think the Bills are going to be down and slinging it, and I wouldn't be surprised to see 10 to 15 points from him with 20-point upside. And we got DT. We all know how bad the Eagles pass D, so Demaryius Thomas is in consideration this week. He doesn't have much upside, but he is close to a sure bet for double-digit fantasy points. And last guy is Robbie Anderson. I've always been a fan of him as I think he's a pretty talented player, and with the Nunwa out, he played over 90% of the team's snaps compared to his usual 70s. He can outrun almost anyone on the defense, so he gives us big play upside as well, and I think he's pretty safe too. Alright guys, that's all I have for my receivers. I will have tight ends and defense coming out shortly.